everybody, Fox here. Welcome to Fox Arwen, my channel where I talk about my art and anything else I want to talk about, and it is November 2023, and that means a month of look-throughs. Today's book is Bits and Bobs, or as I like to call it, Bits and Boobs, Arwen's Dolls adult coloring book by me, fox.kennedy. And we have lovely Thea on the cover. Our first page is, of course, the This Book Belongs To. You can go to foxarwen.com to stay up to date on the latest and greatest in my fantasy pop world. My merch store is Fox Arwen on Redbubble. It says copyright 2021 Fox Arwen Kennedy, Arwen Styles Bits and Bobs. Adult coloring book, all rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or distributed without prior written signed permission from me, Fox Arwen Kennedy. This book, of course, is like Sketchbook, my other book, where I take a variety of illustrations that don't match in other books and I put them in a book for you to color and enjoy and create your own fantastic works of art. All these illustrations come from 2021, 2022. And like I said, they're just a compilation of, they were 4 other projects. Sometimes I illustrate 41, 45 illustrations in a month for one book, and then I have to edit out what doesn't fit the theme. This one was a possible Wonderland theme. She was from a tarot card deck I was designing. So you get a variety of sketchbooky illustrations. But still, of course, all in my fantasy pop theme. Now, what is fantasy pop, I hear people ask. Okay, no one's asked, but I'm totally going to let you know. So, either you know, and you're like, well, you don't have to tell me, but I will anyway. So, everybody knows pop art. Andy Warhol basically made it famous. And I know we could get into the nitty-gritty of, did he make it famous or was it already a thing? And Andy Warhol made it famous. Let's just stick to the basics for the story. Thank you. So there are different ways you can do pop art in and of itself. There's surreal art. So when you think of surrealism, you think of Salvador Dali. Then there's cubism. So that goes into an abstract way, where fantasy pop is not abstract. Fantasy pop is a derivative of pop art. And it entails, of course, clean, bold, black lines. And the fantasy element is not, is it a witch? Is it a fairy? Is it a dog-headed boy named Steve? The fantasy part comes into play because they have to, what you're drawing has to look realistic enough so someone can identify what it is, whether it be a tree, a house, a character. And it has to follow, of course, anatomy. But, like you see in my style, there's basic elements, meaning eyes are, you know, there's no bottom lid. Noses are just a triangle up or down. Now, someone else illustrating in fantasy pop may have a more realistic looking nose. But the fantasy element is more to do with the style and proportion. Basically, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to get down to, is that my characters, my dolls, this is in my super long neck phase and long limb phase, they look like they've been pulled, like taffy, like on a Wonka machine. But they still look proportional enough and it looks like a person. My landscapes can be fantastical in nature, but you still understand there's a gateway, a wall, there's a castle back there, like things are happening. This one was supposed to be for Wonderland, but it got yeeted. I kicked it out. So if you're out there in the world and you have a fantasy pop art style, or you want to get into fantasy pop art, you do it in your own style. You don't copy in like necessarily someone else's style. So your characters may have actual eyeballs with bottom lids and realistic noses, or like a line going up. I have simplified mine because that's just what does it for me. That's just what I love. So yeah, that is a very long-winded way of trying to explain what, fantasy pop is. But I think for the basics, all you need to know is that it is a derivative style that came out in the 80s, especially in the 90s, because I was doing it then. And it's a derivative off of pop art. Bold colors, clean black lines, simple silhouettes. And that's the end of the story. See, now I have to think of something else to say for the next few minutes. This isn't like some look-throughs. What was one? It was like 2 minutes long. I was like, wow, I just went right through that. But if I try to tell you a story, it's going to be a 10-minute long look-through. But yes, in my other, what was it? Fabulous Fashion look through, I explained the journey, the foxarwen saga of how I went from, being a 14-year-old who drew characters like this to being a 20-something-year-old who completely kiboshed the whole thing because of really bad advice from certain people. And we're at the color swatches. See, I knew if I just took a breath. Just take a pause. And we're done, thank God. Well, it's the color swatch pages, so you never lose your swatches. And that is bits and bobs, or as I like to call it, bits and boobs. And I hope you're all having a great November, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.